Hello, today is Friday, February 25th. I don't want to be the second video in February. Before I go any further, for those that have been following this from the beginning, I don't remember, a couple years ago, 2-3 years ago, there is progress on the property, and I know one of my early videos was just putting out there the idea that I wanted to find property and build it out and create a nature retreat. Then that idea is morphing a little bit. Perhaps I'll construct a school of occult science in addition to the nature element. But after waiting 8 months, 9 months, 10 months since we made any progress last April, progress has been made. The driveway is being constructed. The well man sounds like he'll be there in a few weeks. And the initial hugulkultur berms have started to take place on contour on the hill. And hugulkultur is the idea, roughly, of burying wood and letting it rot, and over time it decays into some really rich, nutrient-dense soil. So we've got the berms going, and some mulching's been done, and it's just quite a relief and a bit of excitement to see some progress there. All right, that was just the first piece of business. The last video I shared was when I was on my way to the farmer's market, kind of geeked out from not having slept after the Tool concert, and I had just discovered the work of Black Earth Productionz with the gentleman Sethikus Boza, and I've been doing a deep dive on his work. He has kind of supplanted Mark Passio, not in terms of replacing, just as the resource that I'm kind of diving head first in. And it's interesting, I'd have to go back and check, but I may have discovered each of these guys like the same week, a year apart. I remember I found Passio last February, and in fact that's when I found Sethikus Boza. Sethikus's work is almost too complicated to begin to unpack here in this video now. He would be a self-described magus, magician, for lack of a better term, and we'll get into what magic really is and isn't probably in another video. But the core of his teachings is all about deep, introspective personal work to begin the healing process, so that we can come to better understand ourselves, and in so doing understand the cosmos. So the axioms from the cosmic laws of, the first one being the all is mental, all is mind, the mind is all, and then the second one of the law of correspondence, as above, so below, as within, so without, inside, outside, up, down. Okay. And this is a very he's a very specific, or targeted, I should say, focused optics, perspective, viewpoint, understanding, knowledge, wisdom, etc. of deep occult information. And he's been able to, this is where I'll probably lose people, he's been able to trace his bloodlines back, I'm not even sure if it's tens of thousands, hundreds of thousands, or millions of years. And of course everything comes at the right time, when you're open to the movements and energies of the universe. So just as my journey officially began with my business coach and mentor a few years ago, and I had known him, seen him in passing for years, and he'd tell me later, when the student's ready, the teacher will appear. And I find myself as my own teacher, so to speak, as my higher self guides me through the cosmos itself, the path of truth, and the journey of acquiring knowledge and transmuting that into wisdom, that as I become ready for something, it manifests itself. And having gone through the deep dive with Passio, and kind of bookending that with Tessarion's work, and then getting into the notion of the other cosmic entities and the role they may or may not have played in either our origin, or possibly just as a story or a rendition or version of understanding regarding interference and influence from other beings. And if you don't have that paradigm pulled down, do not even attempt to jump into Sethikus' work, because you have to be very open to the ideas of the astral plane, mental plane, etheric plane, what the chakras really are, that other entities exist very much. And it's not like he's putting out his information in a way that is speculative. It is very matter of fact. And by the time you watch this video, I will have begun, or at the rate I go, concluded, I'm not really sure how long it takes, the initiatory process into his mystery school. So I've signed up. You can check that out just so you have an idea of what I'm talking about. Black Earth Productionz with a Z.com. Click on the services. But this is, yeah, it's a paid service, no doubt. The first step of formally beginning education and training in the understanding of occult sciences. Certainly I've dabbled in that in the people that I've read and the books that I've picked up. You know, Rudolf Steiner being one of the master teachers that I've referenced in the past regarding the explanation of how to know higher worlds and the occult that surrounds us. But Sethikus makes no bones about it. He has a very sincere, if not grave, disposition regarding everything that is happening and has happened. And interestingly, and I will end it with this note, since we're already at the 6.5 minute mark. When I was writing my first email to him, I was trying to look up a word he had referenced in his podcast or his YouTube channel, and it ends up being the Kundera or Kundere, and I didn't know what that was, so I tried to find that based on how it sounded in DuckDuckGo, and I found it, and it was this article, and I just clicked on it enough to see, okay, yeah, this is what he was talking about, and I didn't really look at the website that was from, and then I went back and looked at that the next day or a couple days later, and this is only a week after having found Black Earth Productionz, and this other website is the frickin' motherlode for those that want to dive into, I don't even know how to describe it. It's called the Ascension Glossary, and it's set up as a wiki, like Wikipedia. So think of it as a giant glossary, encyclopedia, formatted by the term and then an article about it, right? That gives either short or long explanation. And it has, I don't know, a few thousand entries, which is a lot, because there's a great amount of detail, and it's laid out there as if you're reading the Encyclopedia Britannica, from terms about chakras to all the however many dimensions there are, 12D or up to 15D, and you don't have to go hunt around and listen to all these other people. Granted, if you want to validate this information, but so far from what I've come across and what other people have spoken about, it seems to be laid out in a very digestible, and if you're open to it, very matter-of-fact way of, these are the ideas that we know throughout time. I mean, one article, for example, is related to the wars that have transpired here on this planet, and it goes back, I think the first war that they mention is either like 10 million, 50 or 100 million years ago, and then it comes up to the electric wars. There's about all these other races and beings that have been here on this planet, either helping or hurting in their interactions with us and the other entities, from the Anunnaki, the other races of the other star systems, Orion, Pleiadians, Arcturians, Draconians. It's all very real. And of course, if you're not open to this, it's going to be a hell of a pill to swallow. But as the lady that seems to be establishing it, I don't know, the main editor of it, or publisher, creator, I'm not sure how many people actually went in to write it. Her name's Lisa Renee, if I have that correct. And she says in it, you know, take what's useful, leave the rest. And I'm just going to leave that right there, because that's going to require its own multi-video series for sure. So, takeaways. Progress on the property, finally. The discovery, and everything always seems to come in twos. For me, the discovery of Black Earth Productionz, and that I will be going into the initiatory process of, I don't know, planetary high magic and inner shadow work on a very real level with Sethikus. My appointment is Friday, March 11th. That's when that kicks off. And then the discovery of the Ascension Glossary, which is just a juggernaut of information regarding everything in the universe, for lack of a better term. And if I leave you with one idea, it is the general concept that is put forth by the legitimate teachers that I continue to come across, which is first the idea that I've expressed over and over again. You know, there's two paths, there's two mistakes you can make on the path of truth: not beginning and not going all the way, and reminding everyone that the New Age variant of understanding, as Mark has said, is the final cul-de-sac on the road to gold, which is, you know, can be viewed as alchemically. It's the final trap that ensnares people. In service to others. And yes, in the beginning of your journey, as you're tearing down layers and dissolving paradigms and really coming face to face with yourself and the reality of who you are and what this universe and what this existence is, you're going to be very much focused on yourself, and you have to heal within, you know, build your house so that you can help your neighbor build his. But, and this is where the New Age kind of can trap you, it's one of their traps, is remaining focused on yourself. What can it do for me? You know, it's like, once you, what was it Alan Watts said, once you answer the phone, set it down, or once you, whatever that expression is, that once you've sorted out, you can stop that piece of it and then go help others. So STS, service to self versus service to others, and that is certainly a recurring theme that can be picked out among the legitimate teachers, and that's what I'm hearing over and over from these folks that I've been encountering. So it's all about service to others. All right, cheers.